Alright folks, welcome back, in which it's time to play Jeopardy Deluxe Edition for the Super NES as part of Daniel's belated birthday special. We're getting close to finishing the regular segments that I normally do for these birthday specials, and then we'll be one step closer to doing the segments Daniel requested. Let's see if I can win Daniel a bundle. We have Jim and Rob facing me. It's an all-guys game. We have these as our 6 categories. I'm going to deal with U.S. states, South America, ballet, architecture, history, and finally, nicknames. Okay, these seem like pretty good categories. Let's get started. Architecture 100.
The answer is...
If a church's interior is cruciform, it's shaped like this. What is a cross? Architecture 200.
The answer is...
Found in Gothic architecture, these supports can be clasping or flying. What are buttresses? Architecture 300. Daily double. Let's do 500. The term for a round hall surmounted by a dome. The U.S. Capitol has a famous one. What's a rotunda? Architecture 400.
The answer is...
From the Greek for one stone, it's a structure of one solid piece, like an obelisk. What is a monolith? Architecture 500.
The answer is...
The 3 classical orders of Greek architecture were Doric, Ionic, and this. What is Corinthian? And I ran the category like it was absolutely nothing. There we go. Let's take ballet for 100.
The answer is...
Frederick Ashton played one of the ugly stepsisters in this ballet he choreographed. What is Cinderella? There we go. Ballet 200.
The answer is...
Susan Yaffe performed part of this expiring bird ballet at George Bush's inaugural gala. What is Swan Lake? Ballet 300.
The answer is...
The Moors Pavane is a ballet of love, death, and betrayal based on this play. What is Othello? Right again. Ballet 400.
The answer is...
In the ballet Sylvia, this goddess of the hunt mortally wounds the villain with an arrow. Oh. Forgot this one. Or is it Diana? Yeah, it just now came to me. Oh well. Can't be perfect all the time. Next clue. History 100.
The answer is...
Answer there. In the late 1400s, Torquemada was confessor to this Spanish queen before he led the Inquisition. Who is Isabella? History 200.
The answer is...
This series of holy wars against the Muslims led to the establishment of trade with the Middle East. What are the Punic Wars? Oh, it's not the Punic Wars. I think I know it. I think I know it now. The Crusades, yeah, by second hunch. Oh well. Once again, can't be perfect all the time. But let's go to the next clue. History 300.
The answer is.
When this Mongol emperor was a little boy, his father, Yasegi, was poisoned by Tartars. Who is, Genghis Khan. Yeah. History 400.
The answer is.
Hitler's World War II effort to regain Antwerp. It's also fought by those who gain too many pounds. What is the Battle of the Bulge? History 500.
The answer is.
The Act of Union divided England and Wales in 1563 was during his reign. Is it? Oh, Rob does not know. Have a hunch. I have a hunch, but I'm going to stay put. Henry VIII, and that was my guess. Shucks. Oh well. Don't let it get to me. South America, 100.
The answer is.
Icy mountain streams in Peru are the source of the Amazon, which flows into this ocean. What is the... Okay, icy mountain streams of Peru. What is the, Pacific? Oh, it's the Atlantic. Rats. The Atlantic, yeah. Because the Atlantic flows into the... The Amazon flows into the Atlantic. But Peru borders the Pacific, so that's what confused me. Nicknames for 100.
The answer is.
It's there. This Daredevil's real first name is Robert. Evil, an alteration of Evil, is a nickname. Who is Evil Knievel? I'll take nicknames for 200.
The answer is.
Nickname of New York City gangster Jack Diamond. A man who took 4 separate hits to kill. What is legs? Nicknames 300.
The answer is.
Nickname of John Burks Gillespie. What is Dizzy? I'll take nicknames for 400.
The answer is.
To tell the truth, dentist Edgar Rudolph Parker made this nickname his legal name. What was... What was Toothless? No. Or... Oh. It just now dawned on me. No, well, Jim doesn't know. See if Rob can get out of the hole. Nope, he doesn't know. It's Painless Parker. It just now dawned on me. Painless Parker. Alright, let's keep going. Nicknames 500.
The answer is.
Jessica Rabbit's hairstyle mimicked the style of this peekaboo girl. Who's Veronica Lake? Yeah. Let's go back to the $500 clue in ballet.
The answer is.
A pop, what's known as a movement in which a dancer bends her body like one of these creatures. What's a fish? $4,000 now. South America, 200.
The answer is
When Juan Perón returned to the presidency of this country in 1973, his wife was elected vice president. What is Argentina? South America, 300.
the answer is
If you're watching a music video in Montevideo, you're in this country's capital. What is Uruguay? South America, 400.
the answer is
Country whose capital lies closest to the line of 0 degrees latitude. What is Ecuador? South America for 500.
the answer is
The Braganzas were a royal family that ruled in Portugal in this South American country. What is Brazil? U.S. States for 100.
the answer is
The Pony Express ran from St. Joseph, Missouri, as far west as this state. I'll say what's California. Yep, 200.
the answer is
Mount Adams and Mount Eisenhower are located in the White Mountains of this northeastern state. What is Maine? I bet it's New Hampshire. Rob. It's New Hampshire, yeah, my second hunch. Oh well. It's okay. 300.
the answer is
This state, not Mississippi or Connecticut, has the longest one-word name. What is Pennsylvania? Or is it Massachusetts? Oh, it's not Pennsylvania, it's Massachusetts. I'm going to change my answer. That's more like it. Massachusetts, 400.
the answer is
Answer there. Burlington, the largest city in this state, has fewer than 50,000 people. What is Vermont? Now the last clue.
the answer is
This mountain state has the highest average altitude of any state east of the Mississippi. Mountain state. Alright. I'm going to take a guess and say, what is Montana? It is not Montana. So I'm going to finish the Jeopardy round with $5,500. Let's see if Jim knows this any better than I do. It's West Virginia. West Virginia. I hope Hunter Dillon forgives me for that. So Jim goes up to 1,100. Rob minus 500, so he'll go first. I should have known it was West Virginia, but I was thinking Montana for some reason. Oh well. It's Double Jeopardy time in any case. We have these as our 6 categories. Fictional characters, celebrity marriages, patriotic songs, D in literature, notice the D in quotation marks, rules, and finally we're going to deal with medicine. Okay, these are good categories. Let's go. Rob will start things off with medicine for 200.
the answer is
Answer there. This contains contagious illness, also known as varicella, attacks children, not poultry. What is the chicken pox? Let's take a medicine for 400.
The answer is.
So there. Though the Salk vaccine can help prevent this disease, no drug has been found that will cure it. What is polio? Medicine for 600.
The answer is.
Labyrinthitis. Labyrinthitis is an inflammation of the inner part of one of these. What are the ears? Medicine 800.
The answer is.
After this couple discovered radium in 1898, it was widely used to treat cancer. Who are the Curies? Pierre and Marie Curie. Medicine for 1,000.
The answer is.
You can get this disease, also called hydrophobia, by breathing in a cave full of infested bats. What is rabies? Okay, ran the category. Let's take celebrity marriages for 200.
The answer is.
Answer there. This Oscar winner married two actresses, Dixie Lee and Katharine Grant. Who is Bing Crosby? I'll take celebrity marriages for 400.
The answer is.
This Olympic gold medalist was once married to the late Dean Paul Martin. Who is Dorothy Hamill? Yep. Celebrity marriages for 600. One of the two daily doubles. I'll do it all. Bruce Willis is married to this star of A Few Good Men and Indecent Proposal. Well, he was married to her, but he's not anymore. Who is Demi Moore? Celebrity marriages for 800.
The answer is.
In 1981, David and Elizabeth Emanuel became world famous designers of her wedding gown. Who is Princess Diana? Celebrity marriages for 1,000.
The answer is.
So there. She was the widow of Florence Ziegfeld when she played a witch in The Wizard of Oz. Who's Billy Burke? $20,000, just like that. Dean Literature for 200.
The answer is.
In titles, this word proceeds of in Venice, of a salesman, and comes from the Archbishop. What's death? Dean Literature for 400.
The answer is.
Some say this classic Cervantes novel is a veiled attack on the Catholic Church. Not sure. It's Don Quixote. Don Quixote. So fictional characters 200.
The answer is.
The Spitz and Buck's arch rival, and Buck eventually kills him in this Jack London novel. What is the Call of the Wild? I'll take fictional characters for 400.
The answer is.
So there. When he lived in Lilliput, the natives gave him meat and drink enough for 1,720 of their own people. Who is Gulliver? I'll take fictional characters for 600.
The answer is.
Jack Barnes is the hero in love with Lady Brett Ashley in this Hemingway tale. What is The Sun Also Rises? Fictional characters for 800, please.
The answer is
Tom Jones was raised by Mr. Allworthy, who was actually this relative of Tom's. I have a hunch, but I'm not sure. Uncle. Oh, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Oh, that's right. Or no, not Uncle Tom's Cabin. There's a different novel called Tom Jones, not Uncle Tom's Cabin. Okay. Rules for 200.
the answer is
Anyways, moving on. It has been stated as do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What is the golden rule? I'll take rules for 400, please.
the answer is
Through there. This 4-word rule tells us how to adjust our clocks to begin and end daylight saving time. What is spring forward, fall back? Let's go with rules for 600.
the answer is
John Douglas, sponsor of a code of pugilistic fair play in 1867, is better known by this title. What is the Marquess of Queensberry? We'll take rules for 800.
the answer is
In 1742, he published a set of rules for whist that led to publication of rules for other games. Who is Hoyle? Rules for 1,000.
the answer is
In 1876, a U.S. Army engineer wrote this popular book on parliamentary procedure. Rob. Rob doesn't know. He's back in the hole at minus 300. Jim. Robert's Rules of Order. Oh, okay. Not very many clues left. Patriotic Songs 200.
the answer is
Song that begins, Father and I went down to camp along with Captain Gooden. What is Yankee Doodle? Patriotic Songs for 400.
the answer is
Hymn that begins from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. What is the Marine hymn? Patriotic Songs
the
600.
answer is
K.L. Bates wrote Oh Beautiful for Spacious Skies after a visit to this Colorado peak. It's Pikes Peak. Patriotic Songs for 800.
the answer is
In the George and Cohen song, it's the emblem of the land I love. What is You're a Grand Old Flag? What is the Grand Old Flag? Patriotic Songs for 1,000.
the answer is
Irving Berlin's song about soldiers going to Europe during World War I. Rob. Over there. Oh, okay. Rob's back out of the hole. Let's see if he can keep out of there. D and Literature for 600.
The answer is
This Dickens title character is the stepson of the unspeakably cruel Mr. Murdstone, who is David Copperfield. Up to $26,000 even. Let's take fictional characters for
the
$1,000.
answer is
Elizabeth Bennet, heroine of this novel, was her father's favorite among 5 daughters. Rob. Pride and Prejudice. Yep. And Rob's going to go to D and Literature for 800, which has the other Daily Double. And I know he's going to bet all 1,700, so here's the clue in D and Literature. We doubt if Moll Flanders would have relished reading his Journal of the Plague Year, and it's Daniel Defoe. So everybody's going to be around for Final Jeopardy no matter what happens, but let's go ahead and look at that last clue.
the answer is
He never finished his novel Natochka Nevskovona because he was sent to Siberia. Jim. Fyodor Dostoevsky. So at the end of Double Jeopardy, Jim has 3,100, Rob 3,400, and I have $26,000. Let's play Final Jeopardy. The category is rabbits. I'll do it all. It's an enclosure to rabbits, as Starsky could tell you. It's a hutch. So I'm going to go up to $52,000. That's how much Daniel's going to get, is 52 grand.
the Final Jeopardy answer is
Is it a hutch? Yep. Let's go ahead and see how the other two players did. Did Jim come up with hutch? He did. Goes up to 4,200. Did Rob come up with a hutch? He did not. He drops down to 1,000. I said a hutch. So I win the game with $52,000, and I'll see you all for that next segment.